it's not because I'm, in the sustainability field that I'm perfect. I'm still learning myself, at a very personal level. I'm learning every day. I'm learning with my clients. I'm learning with my partners and all the people I meet. So yeah, it's not about being perfect. It's just about learning and being humble enough to say it.
Hi, and welcome back to the Kelly Lumber podcast. I'm your host, business mentor, personal brand and style expert who is on a personal mission to inspire a minimum of 5 people a day to take action. Are you one of those 5 a day? Something that you listen to in this podcast, is it going to ignite a little spark in you to make a difference? If so, let me know. Come and tell me on Instagram, Kelly Lumberg Official, DM me. I love to hear when it actually impacts you, something that a guest has said or something that you've just done. It's really awesome. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We're sitting at over 45 reviews now, so it really does help get the message out there. In this episode, I speak to Nadine Zidani. She's French-Moroccan living here in Dubai, and last year she started working with brand new creators and myself, and wow, what a journey, which is why I really wanted to bring her on. After spending a decade in leadership roles in consulting, finance and airline industries across Europe and Middle East, she decided to make the switch from a salaried employee to an entrepreneur and has never looked back. Nadine provides sustainability consulting services and supports businesses that are transitioning or helps them actually transition into a more sustainable business model. So she's really passionate about creating awareness and custom training for leaders and companies on sustainability is about driving change and becoming a certified B corporation. So she explains what this is and just goes into detail about some of the things that you can be doing today to take action about how your business or lifestyle can be more sustainable going forward and making that impact. So let's get into the episode. Welcome to the show, Nadine. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
Who would have thought, when we first started talking, what would it be? Was it April or May when we started working together?
I think it was May last year.
And then to think, here we are now in 2022, you've got an incredible brand, you're known, now in the market, and I'm going to get you to introduce a little bit more about what you do. But, you've built this up in the last 12 months. Like you must be so proud to look back and go, wow, look at where it started from.
Yes, it was such a journey, and I'm super happy. And yeah, this entrepreneurship, journey was something, and I'm still, learning and enjoying it actually.
So why don't you give everyone a little bit of a backstory? Because you took a plunge, a leap of faith, and really did a 360. So maybe just share with everyone, and you might inspire someone else out there to do the same.
Yes, sure. So my background, I spent the last 13 years in corporates. So I was an audit and risk manager working in different, industries. When the pandemic hit, actually, I decided to take a sabbatical, a 1-year sabbatical. It was, to be honest, an amazing time, pushing the stop button and just taking time for myself, to reflect on, the last years, on what I've done and where do I see myself, going forward, was absolutely amazing. And this is exactly when my entrepreneurship journey started and my journey into sustainability, actually.
So maybe tell everyone what it is that you actually do.
So basically, I'm an entrepreneur here in Dubai, and I provide consulting services in sustainability. So I help leaders and corporations and entrepreneurs to transition to a more sustainable business model. So basically defining, the sustainability strategy, helping them get certification as well on the field, and really supporting them on all the what's so-called CSR, corporate social responsibilities initiatives. I do as well a lot of awareness training, about sustainability using, different, games, kind of workshops to create awareness, because there is clearly a need, for people to understand what it means, sustainability, and then how it can impact their business. And lastly, I'm a coach as well. I'm a certified leadership coach, and I do support people to become sustainability leaders. Because I truly believe that we will not, achieve the sustainable development goals if we don't have, the sustainability leaders that's going to support us in becoming just more sustainable.
Did you ever think you were going to be an entrepreneur, or did you ever think that was the path? When you took that sabbatical, was that the end goal, or?
No, really, when I started my sabbatical, it was just taking time for myself. I absolutely didn't know what's going to happen. So if someone would have told me like a year later, I'll be an entrepreneur, setting up my company in Dubai, working into sustainability, I think I would have laughed, because I would have never imagined, doing that. But actually, before coming to Dubai, I think it was 2017, I worked with a coach and to just reflect on my, career and what can be the next steps for me. And interestingly, entrepreneurship, came into the picture. And it was almost, the conclusion of a couple of months working together, but I was not ready. So it was like, okay, I got your points. It sounds very interesting, but I'm not yet ready. So.
Well, I think that's a really good point, actually. You weren't ready, because I do think most people are never ready. Like, you're never ready
Absolutely.
to maybe start a business. You're maybe never really ready to start a family. You might never be really ready to do things. So what changed for you to actually do it?
You're right, actually. We are never ready. And I think I was scared. I was very much driven by my fears and, being, so many years in a corporate job, having, a salary at the end of the month, being really in a comfort zone. So I think, taking the leap to, entrepreneurship was something like super big for me at that time. But once, you step out of the system, if I may say, once, I was, not anymore on a job, just being by myself and just trying to, even visualize what could be my life, my best life or my dream life. This is how, it came again into the picture. And finally, I was like, that's perhaps, the best moment to just try it. And not coming again from, my fears and my limiting beliefs and all of that. And I must say that I've done a lot of work as well, a lot of personal work, coaching. I'm a true believer into coaching and the power of coaching. And it helped me a lot, actually, to overcome all the limiting beliefs, fears, and, whatever, anything that block us actually from taking the leap of faith.
I mean, I have to say, do you remember when we had that first call? And you really did take that leap of faith. And when I say, I remember it, if you remember it in the same way, we had this call. It was like an afternoon or early evening, I think, in Dubai time. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? And,
Yes.
And I remember Nadine saying, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And it was coaching. We didn't quite have the clarity that you do now. And that has evolved over the sessions that we've had. And I remember you said to me that one question, do you think it's too early to be working on my personal brand and everything that I'm doing now? And that was our first call. And I said, no, there's never too early. And then you took that leap of faith and went, you know what, I'm going to do it. And this is something that I've admired about you every time that we work together and seen you go ahead and you just do it. And then you come back and you're like, so I've worked on all of this for my social media, or this is my elevator pitch, or this is the angle that I want to go towards now. And then you just go away, you apply it, and you come back, and the results totally speak for themselves. So I just want to say you've done amazing. I love it that,
Thank you.
Less than a year later, and we were just saying before we came on to the podcast, I had just seen on Nadine's page that she had video, you had a reel where you were speaking, at PwC, you had their office, and it wasn't, you did your first masterclass. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week, yes, I did my first masterclass on the B Corporation, movement and certification, again, to create awareness in the region about it. So yeah, it was absolutely an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
So you've really invested in yourself in this journey, the transitioning from the corporate world into, entrepreneurship. So what have been some of your best resources, maybe best book, great podcast? I don't know, things that you maybe want to share that other people can go, okay, I may maybe do that.
Oh, many things actually. Books, definitely. Some of the books I really liked. One is Simon Sinek. I think he's a great, author and speaker, and especially his book, The Infinite Game, was really a breakthrough for me. Like really understanding the meaning of a business, working on the why of a business, why we are doing what we are doing. I think it's makes you have a very different view of the business world. So I really advise anyone to read the book. Another one is The Big Leap.
Very familiar with that one.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it because again, we spoke about fears and limiting beliefs and this upper limits, and he explained that very well. This concept of we all have a kind of upper limits. And how, it prevents us from, being who we truly are and finding our zone of genius. And that was for me an amazing book because I realized as well how much, limiting beliefs I have and how much I was actually stopping myself from, being authentic and really doing what I really want to do. So that was an amazing book. And there is a last one, but unfortunately this one is in French. I don't know if the author is going to translate it in English. It's a very great book because it focuses especially on women in executive positions in corporates transitioning to entrepreneurship. And I felt I read the book at the perfect time. It was the perfect timing. A friend of mine actually advised me, send me an article about this lady. And I read the article and it resonated so much with my own story. So I bought immediately the book. And I think I spent, the whole day reading it.
Oh, very lovely experiences.
Yeah. And sometimes, things come to you at the perfect timing. And you're like, I don't believe in coincidence. So yeah. And I think it helped me as well to take the leap of entrepreneurship, to say, yes, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one feeling that I'm not fitting in anymore the corporate world and the rules that comes with it and the pressure, and that it's time for me to do things my own way and start, this entrepreneurship journey. So, yeah.
I love it. The other thing that you did, I just remembered when you were talking about it there. Do you remember you wrote your desire statement and then you sent me that message? And it's something that I do with all my clients when we first start is I get them to write down, the goals in business as if it's already happened. And I remember where I was when you sent me a message saying, Kelly, I've just found it again. And you're like, yes. This has happened, this has happened, this has happened. And it was so in just such a short space of time. It was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a strong believer, into doing, desire statements, goals, or visualization, like really visualizing, the life you want without any constraint, without, anything that could block you, from being there.
What skills have you carried over from the corporate world that you actually think have helped you in the entrepreneurship world? Or do you feel that really just had to leave them in a bag somewhere and become another version of yourself? Or has there been some things where you're like, no, do you know, because you've gone from like it was risk management, wasn't it, that you were in?
Yes.
Yes. It's a total 360.
It is. And that's a very good question, actually, Kelly. I think I've never thought about it. I would say definitely some of the things I had to leave them behind.
Tell me one thing you left behind happily.
I think it's perfectionism.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think we have the luxury kind of time, in the corporate world of being a little bit perfectionist. And as an entrepreneur, definitely not. Yeah. So I'm still learning. Yeah. I'm not yet there. But yeah, that's something like, I really wanted to leave behind. I think all the things related to leadership, because, I had a lot of responsibilities, in my former jobs. I managed teams. So all the, leadership skills, building relationships, internally, making people work together, collaboration, all of that, that's something absolutely that I'm still using, even if I'm a solo entrepreneur. I'm very well connected with other entrepreneurs, with corporates, connecting people together. And that's something I love doing. So that's definitely part of it. I think as well, all the pitching, it might be a bit surprising, but even in the corporate world, you have to pitch your ideas. You have to pitch for your projects, to get the budget, convincing people, to invest and to work with you. So that's something I love doing, actually. And I'm still, obviously doing, as part of my job with clients, partners, and so forth. So, yeah, this is what I, can think about now.
What can a small business do that, is listening right now that can make a focus towards being more sustainable? Because I think you've got doing sustainable things, but, one thing that I've learned from you is it's not just about having paper that's recyclable, or, that there's so much more to actually having a sustainability process, or having staff and a team that are sustainable in that sense. So maybe there's two questions in that. So let's come back to the one about what can a small business do. Maybe elaborate a little bit more on the sustainability piece beyond just the basics that maybe people already know of. What are other things that make an organization or a small business be more sustainable?
Sustainability is a complex, very broad topic, and as you said, unfortunately we are trying to narrow it down to a couple of initiatives that are very practical, that people can see. I mean, it's a good step, but we can do obviously much more. And I think, especially for entrepreneurs, and I'm working myself with entrepreneurs, the starting point is the purpose and the mission and values of the business. And I think it has to start from there, because when you start having a discussion with an entrepreneur about his or her mission and the kind of impact they want to make, and when I say impact is environmental, social impact, this is how really the discussion starts. And from there, we can really define a strategy for the business. So I think instead of trying, to go very tactical, like planting trees, for instance, I'm hearing that a lot in the region. Like, think about what kind of business, what means sustainability for my business, and what's my mission. I'm going to give you an example of, for me, one of the role models in sustainability is a company called Patagonia. It's a US company based in California, and they do outdoor clothing. And the mission of Patagonia is, we are in business to save our home planet. We are not in business to sell clothes. We are not in business to be a very cool brand. We are in business for something much bigger than themselves, something, unachievable in a way. And that's really the mission and the thinking and the discussion I'm triggering even with entrepreneurs. Because once we have that defined, that's the backbone, of your sustainability journey. And then we can really start, build on that, what kind of impact you want to have on the environment. How do you give back to society? How do you support your employees? And all, we can really drive from that a very, very consistent strategy. And I think consistency is essential into sustainability. Otherwise, think about your clients, your partners, you're going to be lost. I mean, it's very cool to use, recycling paper or, go and plant trees, but how do you link that to your business? What does it mean for your business?
So with that all in mind, which is it's a really great way of breaking it down for people to understand. It's more than just, like you say, the tactile pieces that we can do there. It can seem really overwhelming, and it can also seem it's too late. So what would you kind of say to that sort of someone who's maybe sitting there going, God, it's really overwhelming, I don't know where to start. Like, what's one thing? Or it's too late for me to do anything. Like, we're going to kind of this thing, because I bet people, that's kind of thing that people would say, no?
It's never too late.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said to you, it's never too early to start building your personal brand. It's never too late to be, it's never too late to be making a difference.
Yeah, it's never too late. And in all the discussions I'm having with the clients, they think they are doing nothing. But when I start asking questions and we start digging on, especially the founder, values and ethics and the way, they run their business, I realize that we are doing a lot. Mm-hmm. It's just not, we are not putting things together and they don't know how to link that to sustainability. Because in people's minds, sustainability, and we talk a lot about, the environmental impact. Mm-hmm. So carbon emissions and all of that, but not enough about the social impact. And there are some of them doing really a lot on the social part. So it's just a matter of, knowledge, awareness, having, someone, beside them to support them in this journey and helping them, shape a meaningful strategy for their business. So, and it is indeed very overwhelming, but it's a journey, and it's not going to happen, in a couple of weeks or months. It's really a journey, and it's a journey for all of us, as citizens, business, government. We're all learning. So I think we really need to think about it that way. It's not about becoming the best, but how can I contribute, my in my own way, to the world and to the sustainable development goals. So step by step.
What's one myth that you'd like to debunk about what you do or the environment that you're in?
Interesting question.
I asked it actually when I asked Tash and Polly from Tish Tash, the marketing agency, and I asked them the question. And I said, what's one myth? And she was like, that we just swan around going to parties and drink champagne. And she says, as much as that would be nice. So people always have these sort of preconceived ideas about, what it is that you do or what it is that you're who it is you're interacting with. So is there something that you would say would be a bit of a myth?
I think it's, I touched upon it, just in your previous question, we all think about environments. So most of the people, they think I, only work with organization to kind of assess, the environmental impact, carbon emissions, and all of that, because we talk a lot about energy, renewable energies, and all of that. But we tend to miss, the social parts. And by social part, I think about things like diversity and inclusion. That's part of sustainability. Mm-hmm. So it's much broader than just, the environment. And it's really linking a lot of things together. So I think that's one of the myths in my view that we need to kill in a way about sustainability. And I think it's as well it's not because I'm, in the sustainability field that I'm perfect. I'm still learning myself, at a very personal level. I'm not, I'm not the perfect, sustainability ambassador. I'm learning every day. I'm learning with my clients. I'm learning with my partners and all the people I meet. So yeah, it's not about being perfect. It's just about learning and being humble enough to say it.
I think that's a really good point, actually, this sort of perfectness about, because perfect doesn't exist, but I do think in order to be, perfectly sustainable or 100% sustainable, it's hard. It seems like it's not enough. It's not definitive enough. But as long as we're doing the steps in the right direction, that we're doing something to contribute in that space, then that is what counts. And I think that's where sort of some of the frustrations that even I see with my friends, the more I've become aware about it, and the more it's like, but why are you using that? Or why don't you there's just simple things that you can be doing that people aren't.
Yeah. Exactly.
How do you not get annoyed at them? How do you not get annoyed at them? At friends or people that's doing things because you also don't want to be the preachy person.
No, because I think we should avoid to be judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
It's as you said, it's a little bit overwhelming. We know that we are not on the right path, especially on the environmental aspect of it. We just have to watch the news to see how alarming scientists and governments are about it. So the more we put pressure on each other, the more we are judgmental and we start criticizing people. People won't take actions, So I think we need to be more, encouraging, supporting each other. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're doing that. I've never heard about that. Which company are you working with? Oh, I'm going to contact them. That's very interesting. And that's for me the kind of attitude. I want to take it on a very positive way. I still want the message to sound a little bit alarming because otherwise we won't take actions. Mm-hmm. That's, reality. But in the steps and, what we do, we need to support each other.
Mm. Otherwise, there will be, there will be no movement. But the more that we do, that's little, mm-hmm. the bigger impact that we have.
Absolutely.
What's been one of the biggest realizations for you in the last 12 months, maybe on that sort of impact?
The biggest realization, I think, it's the huge impact of the business and companies. We unfortunately, I feel we tend to wait for governments to take actions, and we put as well a lot of pressure on ourselves as citizens, consumers. But for me, the who can really have a huge impact, positive impact, is organizations, is companies. So and they are part of the problem and the solution. So I think we need to focus a little bit more on the business, and that's why all what I do is with the business, my mm-hmm. work, because they can make a huge impact if they start really embracing sustainability and working together and finding solutions. It can have a huge impact. So for me, that's one of the biggest realization. That's how damaging business can be to the environment and to the society.
Just to kind of ask you that little bit, because you did make such a transition from going from corporate to, being your own boss, being in your own space. And a lot of people struggle with it because when you're used to having a team around you to help you or other people's energy, to kind of raise you up. What are some of the things that you've done as a new business owner that has helped you maintain momentum, kept you motivated, and sort of helped you transition into this new space?
That's a very good question. Indeed, it can be a very lonely journey sometimes, especially transitioning from, the corporate world, having, colleagues you meet every day, interacting with a lot of people, teams, and so forth, from being alone and doing by yourself a lot of the work, actually. I think for me, it's my mission first. I think my mission is very clear, and the impact I want to have, on the business and how I want to support, leaders in corporate and entrepreneurs. So once, that is very clear in my mind, I know why I'm waking up every morning, even when it's hard, even when I'm not motivated. I know I'm doing it, I'm in service for something bigger than myself. And that's for me is a big thing compared, to the work I've been doing the last 10 years. And it helps me to overcome the fear as well, by, doing new things, new ways of working, meeting a lot of people. Anytime, I feel fear because it's part of the journey. I'm not gonna lie, to be honest. Anytime I feel like, oh my God, that's too much for me, I can't do it. And I think we had some discussions about it. I always think you're not doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for your own ego. You're doing it because you're in service. You have a mission and you want to make an impact. And then suddenly I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it and stop, procrastinating or trying, to come back to my perfectionism, for instance. So that helped.
I also see that you on your stories, and we've had many discussions at sort of 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, that you're out running, and exercise, I think, is playing quite a large part into that sort of getting you up. And because I know we talked about it when we were mentoring, finding that routine in the morning and really pushing yourself to get out the door even when you didn't feel like it. And now, from what I see on social, which I think I know you post authentically, there's days that are harder than the others.
Absolutely. And I think that was, one of the big changes as well in my life. Becoming an entrepreneur and becoming the kind of, leader of my own life. So taking care of myself, having this, daily routine, exercising every day. I love running. So, I go running at least 4 times a week. Waking up early, that was something new. I've never done it before. Waking up at, 5 a.m. That was a big challenge, but it's amazing, how, the energy it gives me, during the day, and how, motivated I am, to do my work. So all of that is new. I started like 4 months ago, and now it's part of my life. So that's very important as well. Perhaps an advice, as an entrepreneur or anyone willing to start this journey, really take the time to think about your day and how it will look like. What's the most important for you, to do during the day. For me, it's like exercising, having time for myself, journaling, meditating, working, obviously, but not working all day, from 9 to 5. I know that, I'm at my best, in the morning. So I dedicate my morning to work, and then having interaction with people, because that's very important as an entrepreneur as well, especially a solo entrepreneur. So meeting people, having, meetings with clients, other entrepreneurs, just to have a discussion and, sharing, tips between us. So all of that is absolutely essential.
Such great tips. And the exercise aspect, that I think that identity piece, it's huge. And I know from certainly my own experience that finding that routine and exercise being part of it daily has been a game changer over the past few years. So love it. So how can people find more about, the workshops that you're doing, the education on sort of this movement that people need to be making? Share your details and your social media, and then we'll wrap up.
So I'm very active on social medias, especially Instagram and LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So people can reach out to me on social medias. That will be a pleasure. I have my website as well, www.nadinezidani.com. You can find all the information about what I do, more about my own story. So yeah, that's many ways to contact me, and I'm super happy when people contact me and just to say hi, I like your post, or it does resonate with my own story. It's amazing. So just
keep on inspiring. That's what I would say. Keep on inspiring, because you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey today. I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next 12 months. And best of luck, Nadine. Did you enjoy this episode? If you did, then please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. This is how more people can hear about the amazing stories and guests that we have on here. Even better, you can also share this on social media. Screenshot it and share it on your Instagram or on your Facebook or on your Twitter account. The more people that see these episodes, the more awareness it brings to small businesses and those that are trying to make an impact and difference. And if you want to know more about how you can develop your personal brand, then check out our new website, Brand New Creators, designed by our in-house team. And we are in the business of helping you to increase your online visibility, build industry authority, lead change, motivate, and profit. Who doesn't want that? I look forward to speaking to you soon. Until next time, bye.